Buckle up, buttercups. Buckle up. I'm going to say something nice about Governor Bob Ferguson with absolutely no caveats. First time, maybe the last time. Let's talk about it in our segment, Unbelievable. All right, so during the pandemic, and particularly the later years of the pandemic, one of the things that I was really forceful about is the need for emergency power reform. We had a governor, a dictator, who had us in a state of emergency for 975 days, and it gave him quite a bit of latitude to deal with the pandemic in the way that he saw fit and put down mandate after mandate with absolutely no check on his power, and that's just not right. I wouldn't want it if there was a governor in power who I agreed with on most things, and I certainly don't want it when there's a governor in power who I disagree with on most things. And that just didn't gain traction, despite some moderate Democrats trying to do it. Overall, Democrats just wouldn't let it happen. And I guess why would they, right? They know that they're going to have a Democrat in the governor's office probably for as long as they want to. So they're like, why would we rein in someone of our own political party? Well, enter Bob Ferguson. So you'll recall during his inaugural address, he was talking about ways he would be willing to work with Republicans. And one of the things he said is he wanted to work with Republicans on reasonable emergency power reform.
Senator Braun, where are you, Senator Braun? There's so many faces in front of me. Senator Braun, I hope to work with you to adopt reasonable limits on the governor's emergency powers. We can do that together.
Love that. Love that. So there was a bill put forth. It was bipartisan in nature. It had support of Governor Bob Ferguson, and it does not appear that bill is going to go anywhere. Bob Ferguson took to Twitter, and he said this. I'm going to read the full thing. Despite lawmakers on both sides of the aisle engaging in good faith negotiation, it's clear that the legislature will not adopt bipartisan legislation to place reasonable limits on the governor's emergency powers. Reform is necessary to protect Washingtonians in times of emergency while ensuring an appropriate balance between the branches of government. Consequently, I commit to the people of Washington and the legislature that I will take the following actions in the event of an emergency when the continuity of government has not been disrupted. If I declare a state of emergency that lasts longer than 60 days while the legislature is not in session, I will terminate that emergency or any order arising from it if 3 leaders of the 4 legislative caucuses write to me requesting that action. Moreover, if a state of emergency has been in place longer than 120 days while the legislature is not in session, I will call a special session to give the legislature the opportunity to terminate an emergency order or declaration. He says this policy will remain in effect as long as I am governor unless the legislature adopts bipartisan legislation amending those emergency powers. I give him a lot of credit for that. He didn't have to do it. He had enough cover to be able to say, well, they didn't send a bill to my desk to sign, so I guess no emergency powers this year. Skeptical Brandi could come up with all sorts of ways and reasons why I think this is strategic on his part, but I'm not doing it today. I think this is a very good thing. I am glad that Governor Bob Ferguson is doing it, and I applaud him for caring about it. That's it. That's all I have to say, Nicole.